Hi there, my name is Carolyn Pitts. I am a health coach and an energy healer, and today I want to talk to you about heart disease. And I'm going to read to you from a blog that I wrote called Tim's Stent. Last month, my friend Tim had a stent inserted into a coronary artery, a vessel that supplies oxygen-rich blood to the heart. A stent is a tiny wire tube that props open an artery by squeezing the fatty deposits or plaque against the vessel wall, thereby increasing blood flow. A stent is typically recommended when the blood flow is reduced by 70% or more. Tim's coronary artery was 80% blocked. After the procedure, Tim's doctor prescribed a blood thinner to reduce risk of blood clots forming around the stent. Unfortunately, the new medication required changes to his existing prescriptions, and in trying to get his medicine regulated, he's been to the emergency room twice so far. Still, Tim remains grateful. Thank goodness my doctor found the blockage in time to prevent a heart attack, he told me. I'm all good now. I hate to break it to you, I replied, but unless you embrace meaningful lifestyle changes, fatty deposits will continue to build up in your arteries. There could be another stent in your future. And I didn't mention that that was only if the doctor found the blockage in time. Tim shrugged. My father had heart disease too. It's in my genes. There's not much I can do about it. And once the doctor gets my meds straightened out, everything will be fine. What is heart disease? Heart disease is the leading cause of death worldwide, accounting for nearly 18 million deaths a year. It's an umbrella term that includes several conditions that affect how efficiently the heart functions. Now, Tim has coronary heart disease, which involves blockages in the arteries that nourish the heart. Other forms of heart disease could be cardiomyopathy, which results from a weak heart with reduced ability to pump blood, arrhythmias such as atrial fibrillation or AFib, which occur when electrical signals cause the heart to beat erratically, and disorders affecting the valves inside the heart, which include regurgitation, valves that don't close completely, allowing blood to pool in the heart, or stenosis, valves that have become stiff and narrowed, forcing the heart to work harder. Doctors closely monitor patients' blood pressure and cholesterol levels because elevated values increase the risk of heart disease. And since cholesterol-related plaque can form in blood vessels throughout the body, including your brain, it also raises your risk of stroke. But heart disease is genetic, isn't it? Because heart disease often runs in families, people assume their long-term health is as predetermined as inheriting their father's aquiline nose or their mother's hazel eyes. And while genetics do play a role, their influence is often overestimated. The Centers for Disease Control, or CDC, explain it this way. Quote, your genes play an important role in your health, but so do your behaviors and environment, such as what you eat and how physically active you are, end quote. So, another reason heart disease runs in families is that in addition to genes, we often inherit lifestyle habits, such as what we eat, how we cope with stress, and how we move our bodies, or not. A large study of more than 10,000 adults published in the journal Circulation in 2022 found that individuals with a high genetic risk for coronary heart disease could reduce their lifetime risk by up to 50% by following lifestyle recommendations from the American Heart Association. The authors of the study concluded that healthy habits could delay the onset of heart disease by as much as 20 years. Although our genetic code provides the blueprint for every cell in our body, many factors, influence how that blueprint is used. Imagine a neighborhood where all the houses share the same basic design, yet they look different. Some have garages or basements, others don't. Because the builder followed the same blueprint for every house, but he adjusted it based on the size and terrain of the lot. This is how epigenetics works. Research shows that factors such as diet, physical activity, stress management, and mental health influence which genes are turned on and which genes are turned off. And this is why a woman can carry the BRCA1 gene mutation for breast cancer and never develop the disease. Or why identical twins, which share the same DNA, can experience dramatically different health outcomes. Lifestyle choices don't change our DNA, but they significantly affect how our genes are expressed. Healthy habits may suppress disease-promoting genes, while poor lifestyle choices can silence protective ones. So what about Tim's comment, all I need are drugs? Once my doctor gets the medication straightened out, I'll be fine. Tim's perspective reflects a widespread belief that lifestyle changes are either ineffective or unnecessary once medication has been prescribed. As a health coach, I encounter this mindset frequently. Tim readily admitted to me that he is not prepared to give up his beloved French fries and milkshakes. And he is comforted by the doctor's reassurance that any food is safe in moderation. So for now, Tim is betting that medication alone will protect him from another procedure. Or worse. Yet, healthy individuals experience temporary vascular impairment after a single fast food meal. A single fast food meal causes the blood vessels to become stiff and lose their flexibility. Now that might not be a big deal for someone who's healthy, but imagine the impact could be, how serious the impact could be for someone like Tim, who's already battling blood flow issues. In his book, How Not to Die, Michael Greger, MD, notes that physicians often hesitate to offer nutritional guidance because of patient pushback. And I'm going to show you, I love this book, How Not to Die. Came out 10 years ago, New York Times bestseller. He recently released a second edition, and it is a doorstop of a book, but let me show you this much of the book here at the back. These are all the research studies that support the information shared in this book. Very well researched and documented. Like Tim, many people would rather rely on medication to protect them than relinquish the foods they love, even if those foods are slowly killing them. In addition, and not a lot of people know this, which baffles my mind, but doctors are not trained in nutrition. A 2010 review found that only 27% of medical schools in the United States provide the level of nutrition education recommended by the National Academy of Sciences. A lot of medical schools don't offer nutrition training to doctors at all. It's not part of the curriculum. And it's important to know that, because if you're looking for nutrition expertise, your doctor may not be the best source. He may be. So if you're relying on your doctor, ask him about it. Where did he get his training in nutrition? And how is he keeping up with the latest in nutrition science? It's worth asking. And if he's not an expert, ask him to refer you to one. It's interesting to note that there was a time when doctors, many of them themselves addicted to nicotine, told their patients that cigarettes were safe in moderation, until mountains of research to the contrary became too powerful to ignore. So If your doctor's eating French fries and milkshakes, he's probably convinced himself it's okay, just like the doctors that were smoking cigarettes were telling their patients, cigarettes aren't that bad for you. Just smoke in moderation. Kaiser Permanente cautions that, quote, too often, physicians ignore the potential benefits of good nutrition and quickly prescribe medications instead of giving patients a chance to correct their disease through healthy eating and active living, end quote. A systematic review published in the journal Curious concluded that combining medication with lifestyle changes offers the greatest benefit. Heart-healthy eating and regular exercise enhance the cholesterol-lowering effect of statins, while mindfulness and relaxation practices reduce stress more effectively than medication alone. Now, adherence can be a challenge for both approaches. Medication can cause side effects or financial strain, or, as in Tim's case, interaction with other medications, leading to emergency room visits. I have a friend who was prescribed cholesterol-lowering drugs, and the side effects were so horrendous, she can't take them. But lifestyle changes can also be difficult to adhere to because they require sustained motivation and support. For people not ready to overhaul their habits, a complementary approach may be a reasonable starting point. Still, study after study shows that those who fully embrace lifestyle changes can sometimes eliminate the need for medication altogether, along with concerns about side effects and costs. I share Kaiser Permanente's vision that, quote, the future of healthcare will involve a paradigm shift, one where the prevention and treatment of disease is centered not on a pill or procedure, but on another serving of fruits and vegetables, end quote. As I share in my book, 8 Intentions for Self-Healing, the body has a remarkable ability to heal itself if given the opportunity. Lifestyle changes don't just slow the progression of heart disease, they give our body a chance to undo the damage. Even if you haven't been diagnosed with heart disease yet, lifestyle changes reduce risk factors by lowering blood pressure, improving cholesterol levels, and even shrinking fatty deposits in your blood vessels. Lifestyle changes require intentional effort. However, in chapter 2 of the book, I state, quote, the difference between those who achieve their wellness goals and those who don't is their readiness for change, end quote. And that's why my book includes a readiness self-assessment to help you clarify your why, what's your motivation, your who can support you in making changes, and your sacrifices. You have to be really clear about what you're giving up to bring change into your life and improve your wellness. As I covered in the last issue of my blog, which was titled A Season of Sugar, I used to be captivated by sugary foods. Resisting soda, ice cream, and cinnamon rolls was so challenging at first. But over time, my tastes changed. And what once felt like deprivation became liberation as my cravings for sweets melted away. You know, when I talk to people about the fact that I don't eat meat, I don't eat dairy, and I really watch my intake of sugar and ultra-processed foods, they feel sorry for me. They're like, oh, I could never live such a life of deprivation. And I tell you, friend, it is not deprivation, it is liberation. Because I watch what people are stuffing in their faces, and I don't want it. It's hard at first because your body's used to getting those foods. But once you detox, You feel so good. You don't want them anymore. I feel lighter. I feel everything in my body is just working so much better. I don't want to eat those foods anymore because I know how sluggish they make me feel. And that's so empowering. In the years since kicking my sugar habit, I have eliminated meat, dairy, eggs, alcohol from my diet because I no longer enjoy the foods I ate growing up. I don't enjoy them. I have to take my own dishes when I go to family gatherings, but it's worth it because although heart disease runs in my family, my risk of suffering a heart attack or stroke in the next 10 years is 4%. And I've got a link down below to some resources, and one of them is what you can use to calculate your own risk level. If you're wondering where to begin, CardioSmart, a website sponsored by the American College of Cardiology, has a wealth of information about the care and treatment of heart disease. That's the site that includes a heart risk calculator, so you can calculate your own risk of having a stroke or heart attack in the next 10 years. The American Heart Association has a program called Life's Essential 8, which offers clear and science-backed information on heart health. It emphasizes healthy eating, regular physical activity, restorative sleep, smoking cessation, and the management of your weight, cholesterol, blood pressure, and blood sugar. As noted above, a large study concluded that following the American Heart Association recommendations could reduce your lifetime risk by 50% in people with a high genetic predisposition for heart disease. Now, you don't have to change everything all at once. I didn't. Small, intentional changes can lead to profound improvements over time. It took me years to clean up my diet, learn to manage stress, and make exercise a habit. And I continue to make incremental improvements in my lifestyle and my health. So one way you can start, look at the resources I mentioned, CardioSmart and the American Heart Association's Life Essential 8. You could look at the American Heart Association program and consider which of those 8 areas feels most achievable for you right now. Where do you want to start? Don't try to do all 8 at the same time. Then identify a why strong enough to power you through inevitable setbacks. And I'm going to ad lib for a minute. Sometimes people experience a setback in a health goal and then they just stop. We see this a lot with New Year's resolutions. You know, you make it to day 15, then you backslide, and then you say, oh, well, couldn't do that. Every day is an opportunity to recommit to your goal. You will have days that you backslide. It is inevitable. I have days too where I don't meet all of my health goals. But you know what? The rest of the day, I can recommit. The next day, I can start over. Setbacks are just part of the plan. Consider finding an accountability partner or hiring a health coach, someone who can help you along your journey. And then take the first step, knowing that it will get easier in time. Yes, giving up soda was hard at first, but now it doesn't bother me at all. I'm not attracted to it. I'm repulsed by it. Some risk factors for heart disease, such as genetics, pollution, and socioeconomic situations, are outside your control. But your lifestyle factors are within your control, and that is where your power lies. If you have comments or questions, leave them for me down below. You can also email me, Carolyn@carolynpitts.com. And if you visit my website and pull up this blog on Tim's Stent, I've got links to all the research articles, to articles with all the research that I shared with you in this video. Thank you for your time and attention. Intend peace, intend love, intend well.